see. Yep, it's going live, baby. Hello. Sorry about this timer thing. Some of these mornings, I gotta fucking bounce, so. Boom. What's up, day 11? Man, you guys should see this room. One of these days I'll show you, actually, I'm gonna try to clean it before I get a chance to show you, because it's ridiculous. I love this kind of setup where everything kind of looks cool and concise on camera, but outside of screen there's so much shit that I'm stepping over everything and cables and shit all over my couch. Yeah, I live kind of messy. Yeah, dude, I was thinking today about the fucking LA fires, man. That shit is bonkers. I mean, first off, it is devastating. I can't imagine. I mean, we deal with fires here in Boise, and there's been some in the foothills. They've threatened a few houses here and there. Nothing super crazy. Obviously, up north, in different areas, in the Sawtooth and other places, they really have to deal with them. But I can't imagine just huge ass fires rolling through such a densely populated city. It's really fucking nuts, man. And I was dating this girl a few years back, and she had dealt with fires out in I think it was Pocatello, Pocahellhole, as they call it. But no, that area is actually really pretty, and lots of mountain backdrops and stuff. But they had a super nice house against this hillside, and the fire came down. There was a road and then their house, and the fire came down on the other side of the road, ended up jumping the road. They had to evacuate. Their dad was stayed till the last minute, hosing down the line, trying to keep the fire from jumping over. But I mean, you just get a strong wind like they had happen, the two that combine, and they just cannot control it. And I posted this thing. It was, you hear about how they did budget cuts to the fire department in LA. I think it was 18 million, which is only really 2%. So it's not that big, not that huge of a cut in comparison to what the whole department was. However, given the nature of the tinderbox there, you would think that they would up the budget for natural disasters, especially given the nature of our world with global warming. It's also funny how with global warming and stuff, 10 years ago, there was a ton of denial and a ton of, hey, we need to do something about this. And now I just really have never heard any sort of peep out of climate deniers anymore. It does seem to be pretty obvious that it's getting worse and worse, especially in fire areas, in hurricane areas. I don't know that much about it, but it does seem to be that it's getting worse. But regardless, you would think that they would be upping the budget for something that is that important, especially seeing what happened in Hawaii. It's fuck, dude. Yeah, a city and an area that is prone to this shit needs to be ready. And it is crazy that they did cuts. But what I posted about was it's just crazy to me how much money is sent overseas, for example, to Israel to fund genocide. And whether or not you believe it's genocide, just funding anything that's doesn't have anything to do with us or Ukraine. Or, I mean, I get that there's conflicts and things need to happen and you can sit on either side of the fence, but at the end of the day, why are we continuously warmongering and warmongering and warmongering? And it's dude, we need to fix our roads. We need to be prepared for these fires. We need all this stuff. And so that's a whole other topic, I guess. But it was, I saw that LA County alone in the taxes they sent, they're one of the top cities that their taxes spent the most to Israel. It's not they choose it the federal the federal budget chooses it, but it still pulls from all the cities. And so, like LA County in the last year, whatever, spent $50 million towards Israel, who has nothing to do with them. Like, I mean, I guess it does because the Jews run Hollywood. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not, but whatever. But yeah, but it's just like, but they cut the fire department budget by 17 million. It's like, dude, and of course there's always like, a million things that if instead of spending money on this, we could spend money on this, we could secure our borders instead of spending money on such and such. There's always things depending on where your priorities lie. So I do get that. But regardless, it is I found myself doing this, and it is an inclination for people to start just pointing the finger right away. And I mean, yeah, like, dude, that mayor seemed like a dumb fuck. Like, she got interviewed, she was overseas, she was vacationing somewhere else, and she didn't get back. And then when she finally did get back, they're like, hey, like, do you have anything to say to the people? Do you have anything to say about budget cuts? Do you have anything to say about anything about this? And she just ignored it. It's like, dude, your city is burning. Like, say something. Like, say, like, we're doing everything we can. We're going to get to National Guard, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, didn't say a thing. Just ignored, like, I mean, like, dude, you're a public official and you're the mayor of the city. That is nuts to me. So there definitely seems to be some incompetence. However, that said, I do think we all have a tendency to start pointing the fingers right away. And instead of just being like, it's nothing like I can do personally, I guess, from this standpoint, but it's just like, at least just take a second. Like, dude, the city is still burning. It's nuts. People are losing their homes left and right. A few people died. I'm sure more that are injured. It's a sad situation. And I saw somebody, a buddy of mine, posted this photo, and it's just like burnt LA, and then it was just like the only thing not burnt was this sign that said Newsom, for Gavin Newsom or something, and it was like a retweet from Eric Trump, and again, I don't know, man, I don't know how I feel about it, because in some ways, as somebody who loves comedy and wants to do comedy. I'm like, dude, it's never too soon. Like, make a joke, like, you can make any joke you want. It should never be silenced. Sometimes I think it's inappropriate, but that is also up to the person, because people that hear my jokes are going to think they're inappropriate. So I don't really know how I feel about it. It does seem a little insensitive, like, while the city's still burning, to like just be like, oh, see, fuck Gavin Newsom. It's like, whatever. I don't know. But it does seem a little silly, and myself included. It's like, okay, you start pointing the fingers, but it's like, dude, let's take just a second and, think about, like, what that would feel like. I can't imagine, that same friend of mine, his brother lost his house there, and it's like, yeah, man, if a fucking fire rolled through Boise like that and just... I mean, if I didn't have time, like, if I had to fucking just get out, and, I mean, I don't even know what I grab. Like, my cat, almost everything else I own can be replaced. It would, suck if you had a bunch of cash and that got destroyed. I mean, I guess I could grab cash, but, I mean, there's, like, some guitars that are sentimental. I wouldn't be able to grab my piano, the piano I grew up on, my mom grew up on. Like, that's pretty sentimental to me. And so, like, yeah, that's getting fucked. But other than that, there's not a lot of things that, it's just like my gear. And I guess my hard drives, because it's just like, fuck, dude, grab, like, that's your work. And I'm like, I don't want to, I have some of it up in the cloud, but like not all of it. And a lot of it's just backed up on drive. So maybe that's something I should grab, just so I have, like, yeah, this is the work that I've done over the last 3 years. But, like, my music that I've made, I mean, there's some music that I've made that there's only one copy, and it's just on a drive. Speaking of, I should back up my laptop. Yeah, also speaking of fires, I woke up the other day, it was 2 days ago, and like I kept hearing, like, it felt like the what do you call it, the pilot, like, turning on, and then off. It's like, and then it would turn off, and then it would turn on, and I heard it all night, and I finally woke up, and I was like, dude, is that the water heater like constantly running? I'm like, why would the water heater be constantly running? And I like didn't get up, or I got up to piss, and then I kept doing it. And so I look up, if your water heater constantly runs, and there was just like this. The first article was just like warning, like if you like turn it off immediately, your house could blow up. And I was like, what? And so I immediately got out of bed. I was like, oh fuck. And then I went over there, and it wasn't the water heater. It was the central heater for my house that keeps turning on and then off and on and off. And so I think I have like a faulty sensor or something. I talked to my buddy Eric. He works in heating and cooling. So I gotta clean that or something. But basically it's not staying on, so my house isn't staying warm. So I noticed that 2 nights ago, and then last night's doing the same thing. And I was like, oh fuck, I have it set at 70, and it can't keep up. It's like 67, then it was 66 and 65. So I gotta figure that out tonight after work. But yeah, anyway, so back to the fires. I was just like, yeah, I feel like if you put yourself in their shoes, it's just devastating. And it's just like, right now is not the time to point fingers. Right now is just to like do everything we can to like get more resource to the people that are fighting it, all like the fucking firefighters and everybody else. Get more resource. If the water's dried up, figure out some way to get it out. Like we can talk later about what the fuck went wrong here, and then every other city should like take lessons and prepare for things like that, especially in those areas. I did see I posted a Rogan clip from last year. He said he was talking to a firefighter, and how that guy was just like, dude, he's like, we are so fucked if we ever get a big fire and a huge gusts of winds. Like, all it takes is huge gusts of winds. We will never be able to control it. It'll burn through the valley. It's so dry here. And there's literally nothing you can do. So it's just a matter of when. And I mean, just that alone shows me it's just like, I don't know how, like, if there is any level of preparation that can prepare you for that. Like, what level of preparation can you prepare for a major fault line in California falling off, like you see in those post-apocalyptic movies, like with The Rock or whatever, San Andreas? I mean, there's just certain things, what level of preparation can we prepare for an alien invasion, or if Yellowstone blows? Like, it's just... I mean, we might keep an eye on it and then, hopefully evacuate, or a nuke. I mean, it's just like, no, there's no preparation that's going to like help save us. So I do kind of understand that. It's just like, dude, there are certain things that it's just these areas that densely populated, too dry, high gusts of winds. There's always fires in the neighboring areas anyway. So yeah, man, it's just a really bad situation. I did see another friend of mine on Facebook post about, he's like, it's hard to feel bad for these people when they're all rich fucking assholes. And I mean, I get that too, but if like they're a rich asshole to you, but you in your, $60,000 a year job, and you're like living how you do, you're the rich asshole to somebody living in a third world country, or emerging as they call it now. And so I think about that a lot when people are like, fuck the 1% or eat the rich. And it's like, I get the sentiment. I really do. Sometimes, and I do think there's a lot of people that are just so focused on building this massive empire, and they don't give a fuck about their employees. They don't give a fuck about regulations that fuck other people or anything. It's just about the bottom line, more. But at the same time, that is how we are to other people. And it's just like how we consume, and how we have our lives so cushy over here, and we're still complaining. And yet, like, these people that literally have nothing, and living on $1 a day in some places, etc. what? There was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I did see this thing where there was somebody who posted about James Woods, who was like an actor from back in the day, super rich guy, just well known in Hollywood, and he had posted like 6 months ago about Palestine, and he was just like, fuck them all, they all deserve to die, kill them all. And it's just that sentiment. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're, more pro-Israel, pro-Palestine, but the sentiment of like all of these, there's no innocence. They're all guilty. They voted for Hamas, so they all deserve to die. Like, dude, these are fucking kids. Those kids did not vote for Hamas. Like the majority, like it was what, 50% of the entire population was a child. And these people, so they weren't even born when Hamas was voted in, and yet they're getting just bombed and fucking just devastated, starved, all this stuff. So that kind of assholery from somebody who has so much and is just like, fuck them all, they all deserve to die. I don't want to say that I would wish ill on him. However, he lost his house, and the irony is palpable. That is for sure. It is sad. Like, I don't wish anybody like harm. I really don't. But it is very ironic to me. And it's just like, dude, we have so much. And we have so much to be grateful for and so much to be thankful for. I am so thankful that I don't live there. My friend Ian Nickus, who I still haven't heard from, he lived in Hollywood Hills. He lived in a very tiny little house, and he had a recording studio there that I recorded in. He's a super sweet guy. I mean, like, who knows? He might have lost his house. I don't know. I haven't heard from him. I messaged him, but I haven't heard back. And so, like, people, it's just like they're not all rich assholes. And even if they are a rich asshole, they still, like, I mean, maybe this is a humbling experience, but I don't know, man. I am very thankful that I don't live there right now. I am thankful for what I have, and it's a good perspective. Sometimes I think that my life isn't going that well, but I'm not losing everything, and I'm definitely not in Gaza getting the fuck out of me bombed with nowhere to go. It is crazy the difference of lives, of like how cushy and safe and just... yeah, I guess I can't think of another word, but just how good we have it, and thinking of some of the war-torn areas that some of these people are just born into, and they've, these kids that have spent their first 5 years of their life in hunger and then getting just like blown to bits, and the ones that survive losing parents and getting pushed from here to there and starving and now freezing. And just, fuck, dude. I can't even imagine. And it's just like, why did I get so lucky on this side? I don't really know. I do gotta go. Man, well, at least I didn't talk about the same shit as I always talk about. Yeah, I gotta run to work. I do a double. I got most of my shit done today. I just gotta read tonight and drink that water, take that picture. So I will check in tomorrow. Peace.